Alan Moore poses the question, who watches The Watchmen, in his 1980s comic book The Watchmen, a question echoed by Lisa Simpson in Season 5, Episode 11, Homer the Vigilant, in which she says, and I quote, "I mean, if you're the police, who will police the police?" On today's episode of the Simpsons Analytical Study Show, we will be examining the career of one Chief Clancy Wiggum, who, on the surface, appears to be the inept arm of the law in the town of Springfield. Using the Who Shot Mr. Burns two-parter and Season 8's 18th episode, Homer vs. the 18th Amendment, as our main reference points, we will examine the effectiveness of Chief Wiggum and attempt to answer the question, is he good at his job? So now, without further ado, please join us and listen to some Simpsons ass. Best name, yeah. But that Chandler, though, I mean, well, great guy. That's just where I'll start there. It's the guy, greatest guy. You know who my favourite guy in Friends was? The Italian one.
Okay.
So, yeah, let's talk Simpsons.
Let's talk Simpsons.
The question that I pose to you and the rest of the listening world today, Christopher Howard, is Chief Clancy Wiggum,
yes,
is he a force for good or a force for evil in the Simpsons world? How would you sum him up, for a start?
I don't think he's a force at all, is he? He's just.
There you go. You've destructed my arguments already. he's inactive enough to be neither.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
He's a force,
inactivity.
Force for banality. Yeah, is what he is.
He's lazy, and that's obviously an American cop stereotype, isn't it? That kind of goes back to like the 90s.
Okay, here we go then, right? So, police characters in sitcoms, they're all the same, aren't they? They're all Wiggums.
Incompetent.
Yeah.
Like donuts. Yeah.
Fat.
Yeah.
Stumbly.
Yeah.
Airing a lot. Wait, I was thinking this, and I was thinking, like, but there's always that episode where, like, they'll do something great by mistake.
Right.
Who does it a lot at Brooklyn Nine-Nine, because there's a lot of police characters in it, but like there's two Wiggum characters in there.
Yeah.
And like every now and again they'll solve a crime by mistake, or like it's related to them being fat, or like there's like a food related element to it. Okay. You know, it's a really easy job there. But what? How did you do that? It's done all the time. What are some other police characters from things?
Yeah, because we just had a trope there. I hate using that word trope, but I don't actually. Now you said it, they appear in sitcoms. I'm thinking, fuck, I don't know which, but it's definitely a thing.
Yeah,
it exists in films, particularly 80s films.
Even in Bob's Burgers, there's two police characters and the two lady cops. One of them's like a large lady, one of them's like a skinny one, and it's the one when the guy holds up the restaurant in the musical, the dinner theater.
Yeah,
he's trying to convey to them like this is an actual crime, and they're not getting it. You know, like that's not like sluggish ineptness, but it's like a bit slow.
I just think, I mean, not necessarily that the police are lazy, fat, whatever, but I just think they're incompetent, and that's kind of linked to it. So you think if you're going to be like in the police, you've got to be like really physically quite fit, and if they're just letting themselves go, that's a level of incompetence. Officer Bar Brady is an idiot.
Officer Bar Brady?
He's an idiot.
Yeah, there you go. Think of sitcom wise, Trailer Park Boys. It's the not the police, but for some reason in Trailer Park Boys, all the police are gay. But like the Trailer Park supervisors, who are also gay, but that's not a big deal. Another Canadian examples, I guess, would be Corner Gas. Canadian podcast listeners out there, they'll go, oh, that's a good point, Liam. The police chief in Corner Gas. That's a different show. Wow. It's like a small town in Ottawa, and there's like two police people there. There's like the senior and like his deputy, and like the senior guy's just like he's basically like a large child, and he's just like really nice.
I'm not aware. Of this.
It's great Corner Gas, but that's a different thing. Do you think they make these characters inept on purpose to subvert the expectation of the role, or do they do it to take the piss out of these people?
I don't. Maybe a bit of both. It's inevitably more funny when people fail at what they do. So in theory, and everyone in The Simpsons, it's kind of a failure.
Well,
everything that they do,
comedy is the root of failure, and failure is the root of comedy.
So it stands to reason that he's never going to be this great cop. And in fact, one of the things we watched the Rex Banner episode before, and the comedy of Rex Banner is that he's almost so efficient in comparison to everyone else.
Exactly.
But that's funny in itself.
It's the Venn diagram of like the effective police character.
That's it.
And you know, like, the more effective they are, they'll be in the middle. They'll just be useless.
That's it.
You know what
if
I
they're
mean?
just all right, no. I mean, so basically, one of my favourite lines in The Simpsons ever probably is it's a good job he floated past this brothel. The idea that he just kind of he looks out. He does everything is like if there's anything he's lucky. We
were talking about this before this show, and we were thinking like, what are the examples of Chief Wiggum doing a good job?
Yeah.
And we couldn't really find any apart from when he finds Maggie in the episode where Marge goes to a spa retreat to get a break from the family.
But even that's luck because obviously there's no real backstory there, but it seems as if
it's not like he
called it in.
Yeah, he didn't go looking for anything like a police should do.
Yeah,
he just found it and returned. But he returned the baby, so that's all he did.
That's all he did.
That's not much of a job, is it?
But it wasn't like it was a case he had to solve.
No.
It was literally a baby was there and he got it down. That's it. But yeah, floating past the brothel. Even early on when they talk about like the early stuff when he had like his asthma problems.
Yes.
And it's Homer's mum.
It's like the origin story of like he couldn't get into the police because he had asthma, but
again, look into
he looked into him. Yeah, it's this failing upwards thing that I went on a big rant about after watching The Wire again. Like all the white people fail upwards, you know, they do. And all the poor black people get screwed the fuck over.
Yeah.
Is it something with failing upwards and being good in law enforcement there? You know what I mean?
I think it's mainly because in The Wire, a lot of the white people are the cops, aren't they? The establishment, so they look in The Wire, they see him and they look after themselves.
All the white police in The Wire make it out okay.
Yeah,
all of them.
I love, this is getting massively off tangent, I love Presbrewski. I think he's got one of the best character arcs in the whole show.
Yeah.
But realistically, that man should have probably gone to jail.
Yeah. Most definitely.
Yeah.
If not, like, been suspended a hell of a lot sooner.
I know, but because of it's like his
father-in-law,
you know, stuff like that. It's
bullshit.
Yeah, but this is a different podcast for a different time.
So, the main example we were using was Who Shot Mr. Burns.
Yes.
So there's not much of the crime in the first one because he gets shot at the end. Yeah. So it's more about the second one, and it's like, Wiggum, you have to go out and solve this crime now, and he does not. It's all Lisa popping up, and then the actions that he follows are misinformation and wrong ideas and stuff.
With hilarious results.
I was like, when he wants to investigate the jazz dude, what is his name? Tito Fuente.
Tito Fuente, yeah.
Fuente, is it Fuente? It's probably Fuente. I always called him Quente, and that's not a word. Fuente. It's something Spanish. Yeah. Well, it is. I'm not being racist. It's something in Spanish.
South American.
Well, it's the same difference, isn't it?
Parts of South America speak Portuguese.
Oh, what is the difference?
Wow.
Edit around that. But he goes to investigate him first, the Portuguese lad first.
Yeah.
And he does the song. Goes, I hope all the investigations will be this much fun.
Yeah.
And then there cuts to him sitting with Skinner across from the table, and there's a Skinner thinking quietly, and like the clock ticking in the background. It's like he has no interest in doing any police work whatsoever. I can't think of examples of him doing police work. The one scene in it where he's doing police work is when he says, "Oh, I've got to drink some coffee to stay awake," and then he drinks some warm like dairy cream and falls asleep, and has the Twin Peaks dream.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think what he actually does. There's the episode where Skinner goes missing. The one where they think Bart might have had him bumped off, and even then he gets a a psychic in.
Yeah.
To help. Really?
That's right. The search in the house while he's in there. Yeah, they just don't look in the garage.
Yeah.
How much of this is to blame on the rest of his team? Like, you know, what is Lou and
they are. Yeah, they are.
What's the other guy called? Is it Eddie?
Yeah.
He looks like an Eddie.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not good.
Signs floating away, Chief.
They're he's even in he gets pictured in the back house, whatever it's called. The Maison Day.
Oh yeah.
Come on, you did get me twice. Oh, that's so good.
Is he a good guy though? Because in another
example of Wiggumness, the one when Ralph and falls for Lisa, he really misuses his power a lot there. Like, a lot of the other stuff, if not 80% of the 80 to 90% of the other stuff, is just laziness and ineptitude. It's like, oh, sorry, we can't help you because what's the episode when he says like the law is powerless to help you, but then they arrest Marge for something.
Yeah.
I thought you said the law was powerless to help you, not to punish you.
Yeah.
But like the one with Ralph and Lisa is the one of the ones where you see him actively just like breaking lights on purpose, like clamping cars.
That's it. So we can get
using the awesome power of the chief of police.
I mean, there's probably worse examples of him just being like immoral, but that one I can kind of forgive because it's ultimately to help his son, and that's
so you're like, saying there's an excuse to be
not an excuse, but I can understand it a lot more.
Understand the motive
than just, for example, like literally visiting brothels. Had all sorts of like weird shenanigans with Mayor Quimby that it's backhanded and things. That's different level of immoral. There's no sort of helping his son there. That one, it's motivated by his son who he loves is upset. That's the reason did it. Yeah, but it's not saying it's right. It's completely wrong. But that's the one I can kind of understand.
It's a nice little relationship there, isn't it? Like, he gives him like the sage fatherly advice about the cracking the nuts, which is good advice in life in general.
Advice, I mean, yeah.
And there's the episode when Bart has to become friends with Ralph, and like he's like you can see more of the father side of him in that one when he's like he's surprised that Ralph's made a friend.
Yeah.
And he's talking to Marge about Wiggle Puppy. Like, it's like, it's stuff he has to... Like,
yeah.
If that was a parent dealing with a child who very clearly has some kind of mental disability, they would be, like, stressed and tired, and they'd be surprised they made a friend, too.
Yeah.
And like, that's why he lets him play with all the riot gear and stuff, which he shouldn't really have done because he gives him the key to...
Yeah. Oh yeah, the skeleton
key, and he sets all the chain of events. But again, he sets that chain of events in motion through stupidity caused by affection, as opposed to wickedness or greed or just general stupidity.
In some ways, he's just a little bit more of a Homer, but I think he's got a bit more. I don't know. Has he got more about than Homer or less? Because.
The fact that he's chief creates this idea in your head that he must have done something to get there, but he really didn't. He's just failing upwards. So, he is basically saying it's like when Rex Banner takes his job and he's just on the street with his broken gun and his underpants, and you're like, did you not look for another job? Did you not try something else?
It's like when Homer, like, had that separation from Marge, he just becomes this complete mess. So without his position of power, he's nothing.
That's another. What's another word for trope we can use?
God, I don't know. I hate that word. Go on.
But it's exactly what happens to Bob Brady in South Park, but like with like a more like drama twist on it, like in the newer ones, with it's just him looking after his sick dog, and he can't afford medicine for his dog. Brady. That's so sad because he's just like this fucking joke of a character, isn't he? And then like they realize they need to actually use police to set up some storylines, so that's when they bring in the Irish cop guy.
I love his voice.
And they just remove Bob Brady. It's Trey Parker, isn't it? Yeah, he's
such a good voice for Bob Brady.
He was a good, fun, innocent character, wasn't he? God bless him. And then they work that into the theme of that series is like things are changing. Like, we don't have a small town cop anymore. We need big city police.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of episodes where Wiggum actually, like, for example, does busts and stuff.
There's what's the one where you see like the watching cops and it's Springfield cops?
Oh yeah. Who did they arrest? I mean, he's terrible at getting Snake, isn't he?
Well, he's always out of prison, so he must not be good at it. So he's an inept force of ineptness, basically. Yeah. He's a small town cop. He doesn't really need to do anything.
Even the arch criminal, everyone is Sideshow Bob in terms of the things he has done, and he never ever, even when he knows.
And Lisa sometimes,
he never catches him. He always has other people kind of working out for him. And the one time he does arrest him, he hasn't done anything. It's a crazy old Sideshow Bob.
What one's that?
That's the one with where he's blown up the dam and it's not him.
Oh fuck! What
that's the only time Sideshow Bob is innocent.
What a
great episode. And that's the time But he gets it.
Yeah.
Tell them they'll live to regret this. You'll live to regret this.
Wonderful stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the only time. Obviously, there's probably a million more Sarge episodes I haven't seen.
At this point, there may be, yeah.
But in my memory, it's always other people have to almost set it up for him. Yeah.
So let's talk. What can we learn from Wiggum? Because we were saying before the great life lesson of if you want to win a girl or crack her, persistence is the key.
Yeah.
That's good. I think
What can we learn from him?
I don't know. I'd rather let 1,000 guilty men go than chase after them is something that I kind of apply to my life as opposed to fuck it. You know,
people just take the law into their own hands.
Not even that. It's just that I always change it. I'd rather let 1,000 good looking women go than chase after them. It's just like because fuck them. You know.
No, this is.
But I'm a bit of cynic though. So
you need a 912. In some ways, if we're going to like a very topical alt-right libertarian America, he is quite almost like libertarian. It's like take the law into your own hands, you know. Yeah, solve your problems, you know. not because he believes it, but because it's easier for him. But in some ways, that's what some people want. There's lots of like draconian laws that people think shouldn't exist.
So you think Wiggum, left to his own devices, would be like?
I think he'd definitely be on board with it.
Trigger of a right-wing society.
If he knew that it'd make his life easier, he definitely would. I think it's just everything to make his life easier, and that's probably the difference. I mean, Homer's lazy, but he tends. I don't know. I think he's just stupid as well. Whereas I think Wiggum's just actually really lazy. It's like the least resistance. Homer doesn't seem. He's lazy like when he's at home and everything, but it doesn't seem like that's, his modus operandi.
Modus operandi, with the big French words.
Whereas with Wiggum, it definitely is like the least. The only time he's ever expended any energy is the one where the beer thing explosion, and he's like,
the April Fools,
pursuing on foot.
And when he's chasing Ruth Powers, but he stops because it's a ghost car.
Yeah.
It's like you look at it from his point of view, and it's like I ain't gonna pay enough to chase ghosts. Fuck that.
That's such a good episode. I also love that was really more of a burgundy. But again, it's just because it's laziness. He'd rather let it go than not have to deal with it, and it seems to be working out.
That's a good point. Yeah. It does seem to be working out in that place. There's no criminals, is there, apart from Snake?
And he's in and out.
Dr. Colossus.
Dr. Colossus, yeah. Even when they're in the Super Bowl, it's a little known secret that one of the bars is fake. So, by process of elimination. So yeah. No, I don't think he's a force for good. I don't think he's a force for evil. He's just.
Do you think he's representative of anything? Oh, he's just a funny character.
He's just a funny character.
I think we're just trying to find stuff that's not there for this.
Yeah, I think we are for this one. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's good to examine everything.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's anything extra really about Wiggum. He does have some great lines though.
He's a great comic character.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, it really is quite surprising to me that there's no solid Wiggum only episode.
Yeah, it was funny because when we had this idea, we thought, there must be, and then
but it's just
isn't.
Small parts, but like small moving gear parts that are important in other episodes.
I mean,
and those are really how you use good comic characters because you don't get tired of them then, do you?
True. But everyone else, because of the Simpsons long enough timeline, would surely you'd think. It seems like everyone's had an episode at some point.
It does, but like then again, when you strip it down, there's that many characters, and not all of them have.
No. Let me just type this up on my invisible typewriter. Again, trying to avoid work.
The Stampy one is like, yeah, right, an elephant's running through your backyard. Like, yeah, right, the bank's getting held up at gunpoint.
That's it. It's
the power of laziness. Yeah, he's kept that job.
So maybe it back. The question should be, is he the laziest character in The Simpsons? Because the immediate answer is no, Homer is, but I don't think that's necessarily true. I think Homer's lazy, but in comparison to Wiggum. And Homer's lazy in the American idea of what we think laziness is. So like he likes to drink beer and watch TV, but so the vast majority of society, it seems, doesn't actually actively try and avoid doing stuff. When he's at work, he doesn't seem lazy. He seems incompetent, but he never seems lazy.
There's just nothing for him to do.
Yeah. Whereas Wiggum is a bit incompetent, but there's actively trying to avoid work as well, which is a different thing.
You see him out there. He does beats. He patrols.
Does he?
I mean, on the 22 short stories.
Okay, he's getting food though. He's just walking across the road.
Okay, fair enough. Oh, poor Wiggum.
I know.
Wiggum, good guy though.
I like him.
He comes across as a good guy. I'd have a beer with Wiggum.
Yeah, definitely.
Probably into some corrupt shit, but then again, who isn't?
Exactly.
Who isn't? I know I am.
We need to talk about him and Quimby. That's a weird little thing.
It is, isn't it? I mean, there's some stonemasonry going on there.
Yeah.
There's some weird them spit roasting a girl somewhere.
God.
Happened.
That is not an episode I want to watch. But the episode there was Rex Banner, wasn't it?
They have an encounter in Rex Banner, yeah,
That's
and
it.
the monorail one. They have an encounter there.
You're writing checks your body can't cash. Is that Rex Banner or is that a different one? I can't remember. Where they had like the little set to.
I'm pretty sure the monorail one is the one where he goes, "You don't scare me, Quimby. I've got pictures of you."
Oh yeah.
And he goes, "You don't scare me. That could be anyone's ass."
The episode with Lisa the iconoclast. One where they dig up the body of Jebediah Springfield.
Yeah.
And there's kind of hints to like those two are always up to some sort of nefarious thing.
I've never really thought about that.
It's
but
always
they're
the,
always doubled up, aren't they?
In a similar way, obviously not to The Wire, but the idea that the chief of police and the mayor are so intrinsically linked, and they almost try and force each other to,
He needs him to duke the stats,
Yeah.
and he needs him to secure his job and give him
So-
a pension bump.
it stands to reason that they would not just know each other, but would be working quite close together. So there is a relationship there. It's not really explored that much, but it definitely exists. And the fact, for example, even the episodes where Mayor Quimby's kind of let off the hook by the other cops, like, he's polling the electorate. It's just like, turn a blind
He's
eye.
the long, flabby arm of the law. He's
Yeah.
like Quimby's enforcer, but he doesn't really have much to enforce because he's a small town mayor, so
Quimby's
no one really
interesting.
cares.
Quimby on the surface, it seems like it'd be a really interesting character to look at, but again, it seems on the surface there's not much there.
There'd be even less Quimby stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
there's hardly anything.
I mean, what have you got? You've got the one with his nephew gets done for the clumsy clue escoetar. The prohibition one, maybe.
No, there's not a lot there.
There's nothing really. Again, like, how is there not? Oh, the bodyguard one.
It's all right, isn't it? But that's mainly it's a Homer episode, isn't it?
I think that's probably got the most Quimby
And Mark
in
Hamill.
any of it. Yeah, 2 roles in that. Mark Hamill.
know.
What a guy. What a class act.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Yeah, there's not much Quimby to be had, but I apply the same question to Quimby. I mean, you'd have to say like he's just like corrupt, bad guy.
Yeah,
Like,
I wouldn't even say
what's-
he's incompetent. I think he's incompetent, but he's not to the level of like Homer or Wiggum. I think he's not.
He
he's
gives
not
the
a
people
good
what
guy.
he's not a good guy, and like he again failing upwards while being a dick. Like in the Whacking Day episode, like when he shows up at the end with the dead snakes, when everyone's turning against the idea of dead snakes, and he just gives the people fucking hell.
He's a weather
Let's
vane,
just
isn't he?
give us hell, Quimby. They say, what the fuck is wrong with these people?
Yeah.
Who's voting for this guy?
It's always the Bears. What is it? It's the immigrants.
Immigrants. I knew it was them,
them.
even when it was the
Bears.
Bears.
I knew it was them.
And the home owner tax. That's the home. Yeah. It's a corrupt system in place there, set by Mayor Quimby, in which ineffective police enforcement, such as that implemented by Wiggum and his subordinates, is allowed to run rampant.
Maybe he is.
It's a failing ecosystem.
Maybe he is.
But
For evil.
Wiggum is not the head of the snake. Call back to the Whacking Day there. He's just one of the cogs in the machine again.
Like the Wire.
Like the Wire. Everything can be called back to the Wire.
None of the people at the top in the Wire probably mean to be bad, but the system's so gamed that they can't.
Yeah, this is something I think about all the time, daily, because I think of the Wire daily when I wake up. It's just Rawls doesn't start off as a big fucking dick, does he? He must he's just figured out that this is Baltimore, gentlemen. The gods will not help you. You live and die by the stats.
That's it.
If he doesn't duke the stats, then the guy next that comes
Yeah,
after him's
he'll be
gonna do
gone.
it.
Someone else will do it instead. Yeah.
It's a corrupt system in place that they found a way to survive in, but when Daniels comes along thinking oh, we can change the system now because Carcetti said we can change the system now. And everyone tells him no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Money,
Keep your head down. It's not going to happen. Yeah. And then they were right. So the corrupt people.
How depressing.
They get to these positions of power by being right. At the end of the day, don't they?
Yeah.
Everything's fucked.
Arguably, then